Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. No, it is November 5th, 2020, 9:09 a.m. I should be working, but I got a lot on my mind and I want to talk to y'all. This is probably going to be a little update video slash I want to talk to y'all about a whole bunch of things. One of those things being that I have 2 years clean, and I want to talk about that among a whole bunch of other stuff. So my name is Jake McCollum. I currently have 593 days of living in this car that you see. This is my home. This is my home. I've made modifications so I'm able to live in it. That is my bed. You know, I've got like memory foam in the trunk that I lay down, and blanket, sleeping bag, you name it. Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time now, and I enjoy traveling, and I'm trying to adjust the light on here so it actually looks good for y'all. I guess that works. I also have 737 days clean from crystal meth, which is 17,673 hours as of right this second. Which blows my mind because I never thought I'd be able to stay sober for any lengthy period of time. I struggled with the meth addiction for 8 years, right out of high school. I somehow graduated because I was not the smartest, brightest kid in the world. You know, I really struggled. I was a D, C, F student in school. Just was not academically all there. You know, as time has gone by, I've learned that I'm smart in a lot of other ways, but school was not my thing. But anyways, I graduated and immediately started using meth, and struggled with it for 8 years on and off. Tried to go to college multiple times, tried to, you know, hold a job, couldn't hold a job. Yeah. I'll get more into that in a little bit, but I also work a whole bunch of delivery jobs. That's primarily what I've been doing the past 5 years. You know, I work for Favor, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Postmates, you name it. And that's been pretty crappy lately, especially here in Austin, Texas. This has been the location that I've been at for probably like 2 months now. You know, doing car life and having a remote job like the delivery jobs, I'm able to work anywhere, so I use that to its advantage, and I like to travel. Probably get more into that in a little bit. And also, I just love documenting my life and putting it to YouTube. And YouTube is something I'd like to talk about as well in this video. Lots to talk about. But real quick, I just wanted to kind of update y'all since the last video I put out, which was on Halloween. I showed y'all me working on Halloween. It wasn't very a Halloween-y type video, so I apologize for that. So in the last video, y'all saw that I tried to run a half marathon. Y'all know I love running. It's something I'm passionate about. I ended up only making it, because a half marathon is 13.1 miles. I made it 9 miles, and it ended up having some health issues. You know, went to go and pee, couldn't pee. Found out that I was dehydrated, and something may have been going on with my kidneys to cause me to get a UTI, urinary tract infection, and that whole ordeal lasted about a week, and I finally healed up just like a couple of days ago and decided that I would try the half marathon again. And so I did that last night, and so here's the footage from that.
That was funny, wasn't it? See a young dropout. Mama told me I was never gonna make it. Now I got 100 women trying to get me naked. Don't even be hit my phone if the day about commas.
So that's one off the bucket list. Y'all know that I want to run a half marathon in every city or state that I travel to. And funny story real quick, last night before I went to go and run, I was parked at this park actually, Vic and Matthias, and I was just cleaning my car, and this random dude comes up to me while I'm cleaning my car out, and is like, "Hey, are you Jake from YouTube?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, you're like a YouTube celebrity." And I was like, "I wouldn't quite say that, but you know, I try." And he's like, "Well, I watched your video on how you live in your car." And I was like, "Oh, cool, man. You wanna check it out?" And he's like, "No, I watched the video." But I end up talking to him for like 30 minutes straight. It always is really cool when I meet fans of the YouTube channel out in real life. It just kind of catches me off guard, and it's just kind of weird. He ended up being really cool, but he gave me like a gram of mushrooms. We were like talking about recovery and drugs, and he's like studying to be a drug counselor or whatever. But he's like, we got into like how psychedelics have been known to help people get over their actual addictions from like Xanax, heroin, meth, whatever. You know, and I'm not going to say whether I agree or disagree with that method. You know, if it helps you, it helps you. Not all of us are the same. You know, your recovery is different than mine, and what works for me may not work for you. But I found it fascinating, and it was like, yeah, I actually microdose, you know. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And anyways, he ended up giving me a gram of mushrooms, which I'm not gonna take. I've always been fascinated and wanted to try it, but I just got 2 years clean on Halloween, and I just feel like it's not exactly the right time for me. But anyways, I thought that was an interesting story. And yeah, so speaking of you know, drugs, you know, 2 years ago, I was in South Florida. I was living in a halfway house, and with a whole bunch of other addicts, just trying to get our lives together and work a recovery program. And all of a sudden, the halfway house company shut down, and so all of the addicts got kicked out of the house and had nowhere to live. And I ended up having to talk to a whole bunch of friends down in Florida, trying to find somewhere to live, because I was like 2 days out from not having a place to stay. You know, my credit was terrible. I couldn't just get a place, and I wasn't making that much money. I was working a different delivery job in Florida, and so I was like, what the hell am I gonna do? And so I ended up finding this I ended up finding this really cool dude that ended up letting me stay in his spare bedroom. So I lived with him for like a month or two, and we start to find out that we don't exactly get along. And so with my delivery job, I'm not making much money, and I'm still dealing, you know, I'm still fresh. You know, I probably have a year clean at the time, and I'm like still trying to get my mental illnesses in order, you know, depression, anxiety, like the mild schizophrenia, and all these other things. And I end up getting to a state of mind where I get into relapse mode again, you know, and so I decide, you know, that I'm not doing well and that I just want to relapse. And so, yeah, 2 years ago, on Halloween, I decide that I'm gonna, you know, use drugs again. And so at first I was like, I don't want to use meth again, like that's too much, you know, maybe I'll just get some Ritalin, and use Ritalin, you know, to methylphenidate. Maybe it'll be a safer alternative. Do you hear how I'm talking right now? It's stupid, but so I end up making a doctor's appointment. You know, I go to the doctor looks at my record, sees that I've been to rehab 3 times and have gone to IOP, outpatient, like 5 times, and is like, we are not giving you Ritalin. Thank God for that doctor, because he knew that I was just trying to get my way or whatever. So that didn't work. And so you know what I do? I'm like, well, screw you, doctor. If you're not gonna give me what I want, I'm just gonna go directly to meth. And so I end up finding a way to find meth in Florida, and you know, I take it back to the apartment I was living at with my roommate, and I end up using that night. You know, it just sucks because that guy opened up his arms to me to let me stay with him, and I took advantage of it. And that's something I still deal with to this day. That makes me feel terrible about myself. But that night, you know, I used it, and I felt so guilty that I ended up going to his room late at night and saying, hey, I relapsed. Take these drugs away from me. I don't ever want to do this again. And he took them, and I went back to my room and bawled my eyes out because I had a year clean and messed it up. And 10 minutes later, you know, 10 minutes go by and I'm like, I just gave my drugs away. What the hell did I just do? So I go back to his room and I'm like, hey, I want my drugs back. And he's like, no. And thank God he did that, because I would have just probably kept using and using. And so I've been clean ever since that night. Thank God for that roommate. You know, not too long after that is when I started looking up YouTube videos on how to live in my car. Because me and him still didn't really get along all that well, and I couldn't afford a place. You know, I had heard of people doing van life and car life and was fascinated by it. And so one night I talked to some other YouTubers that were doing car life, and they taught me how to do it. And I was just, one night I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna go for it. And I've been living in my car ever since. But how do I feel currently now that I have 2 years clean? And you know, I'm sorry, this probably isn't gonna be a happy, like, I'm so excited that and proud of myself that I'm at where I'm at in life today. But you know, I still really struggle. You know, I've lived with my depression and anxiety and mild schizophrenia like my whole entire life. Even as a little kid, that was pretty much the biggest reason why I started using in the first place. The biggest thing for me is having to learn how to deal with myself prior to even learning how to deal with my addiction. Because that's what's most important, because there's always a leading factor as to why people use drugs in the first place. Usually, you know, it's not every day you just meet someone that's like, oh yeah, no, I was just down to try heroin. You know, I was just down to smoke crystal meth. Like, it doesn't usually work like that. You know, but for me, it was definitely like I was surrounded by meth for months before I even decided to try it. You know, you go to the park, see someone smoking a joint, it's like almost become normalized. Well, that's how it was for me with meth. I was around a really close friend for a really long time that was using, and unannounced to me, I was actually accidentally helping him make runs and make money selling the product. And so I was around the drug a long time before one night I was just at his place and saw him using it. It was a normal night, and I was just like, you know what, screw it, let me try it. And things went to hell pretty much after that. You know, I ended up using for 8 years. I've been through a lot. I plan on making a video about my whole entire story, just in one video. You know, I actually have a 6-part series on this channel if you want to check it out. It's called My Crystal Meth Story. It's kind of outdated now, and it's literally 6 different videos that explain my whole entire story through those 8 years. But I just kind of want to get into how I've been staying sober the past 2 years, which, first of all, I have no idea, because you know, I still want to use on a regular basis, but I'm still sober, I'm still alive. And just a couple of the things that have really helped me is having friends that, you know, will check up on you once a week, once a day even. You know, having like-minded people around you, whether that means you're having to go to meetings, whether that means you're going to get-togethers, or whatever it might be. You know, I don't personally go to meetings anymore. I did that for years until it just got to a point where I was just like, it's not really my thing anymore, but it could work for you. You know, also finding things that you're passionate about. You know, I like to skateboard, I like to run, I like to make YouTube videos, I like to experiment with new hobbies, etc. You know, just whatever you're passionate about, I would suggest doing more of it. And definitely one vital thing that I've learned has really helped me is to get all of that stress out that is living inside of you, or pain, or anger, or sadness, or depression, whatever it might be, and putting it all out into exercise, whether that's lifting, running, cycling, swimming. Find something that makes you break a sweat. Break a sweat every day. I've learned that that's probably one of the biggest things for myself that's really helped me stay sober. And I guess one last thing is, you know, the whole higher power thing. I know a lot of people don't exactly agree with the whole, you know, Bill W way of doing things, the AA 12 steps way of doing things. That's just like my personal preference that I do, but I completely understand how other people can be turned off by that, and there's no judgment there. But I would suggest finding some sort of outlet that is recovery related that works for you, whether it's Smart Recovery, NA, CMA, groups that just are especially for depression, whatever it might be. Just, I would seriously try and find some sort of group like that. And so I kind of feel like that brings us to our next segment, which is me, you know, part of the reason why I've been wanting to use drugs again lately is because of the whole entire not being able to pay my bills and the whole money situation. See, these delivery jobs here in Austin, Texas have really, they've been crap. They've been absolute dog poop, okay? And when I'm not making enough money to like pay my bills and everything, it gets overwhelming and very frustrating. And so I'm kind of at a point where I'm just like, as much as I love it here in Austin, Texas, and how much I've enjoyed our time here, I think it might be time to maybe find somewhere else to go. Maybe find a better place where I can make a little bit more money doing delivery jobs, because that's my primary income. If I'm not getting that primary income, I'm not able to make as many videos, because obviously YouTube's not paying me enough right this second, and I want to be able to make videos for y'all. But lately I've been freaking stuck just constantly working 80 hours a week, and just every day 10 hours. It's just, it's a lot, you know? But at the same time, I'm scared to leave right now, because, you know, the place I used the most the whole entire 8 years was my hometown in Sherman and Denison, Texas, and also Dallas, Texas. And, you know, with the holidays coming up, I feel like it's only necessary that, you know, I go and spend time with my family. You know, we're in November now, and, you know, I might as well spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with the family, since, you know, I'm only like 3 hours away from Dallas. I might as well spend it with them. But, you know, like I said, I'm still scared. Like, I feel like in some sort of relapse mode right now, and I'm really trying my hardest just to stay clean. And I feel like I don't know if that's gonna, if it's gonna be very helpful for me to go back home when I'm struggling the way I am right now. And so is it like, do we go to a completely new state and just, you know, try to make my family and friends understand that I'm struggling and that I just need time away from Dallas and home? Or do I try to push through it and actually do spend time with my family? You know, it's just one of another many things that I'm struggling and thinking about doing right now that I can't quite figure out what to do about. One last thing I wanted to talk about is the channel, okay? And this is tough for me to talk about, but I just feel like it's not growing fast enough. I just, you know, what pisses me off is, look at this right here. This is my TikTok that I made like a week ago. We already have like 4,000 plus followers on that TikTok. We've been working on this YouTube channel for 3+ years, and I'm just now getting to 4,000 subscribers, and it just, I don't know if it's the YouTube algorithm. I don't know if I'm just impatient. Like, I don't really know what it is. I just, you know, I kind of actually do. It's just, this is such a diverse channel. We have skateboarding videos, we have recovery related videos, we have car life videos, we have delivery job videos, and YouTube is probably like, what the hell is this kid doing? We don't know whether to push this video out or this video out. Like, the videos are all over the place. It's not like other channels where, for instance, Logan Paul, he makes strictly funny vlogs that are really short videos. That's what you're gonna expect every time a video comes out, and that's what you get, and people follow him for that, you know? Dude Perfect channel. They're always doing experiments on trying to make a basketball goal from a really long, it's all, you know, it's pretty much all the same. They stick to one thing at all times, and, you know, when they put out a video, you know what to expect. You know, with my channel, it's like, what the hell is he doing? He's got this, that, you know, some of my subscribers follow me for this, some of them follow me for that. But anyways, YouTube probably doesn't like that. And so I've been thinking about maybe making separate channels for different videos, and pretty much just like starting over, maybe just to see how that works. And guys, like, please leave a comment down below on anything that we've talked about. If you have any helpful tips, or maybe have an idea on what we could be doing better for the channel, or how we could come up with new methods to stay sober, whatever it might be, just leave it down in the comments below. I'd love to talk to y'all. I try to reply to every single comment, and while you're at it, please go ahead and hit that like button down there for the YouTube algorithm. It'd really help me out. And you know, if my videos suck, just tell me, okay? If I'm just not an enjoyable person and maybe need to just find a different avenue, or maybe go back to school, which I really don't want to, but you know, if I really need some honesty in my life right now, and I really just pretty much what I'm doing is asking y'all for help right now. I just really need something outside of myself to really help me, whether that's God, whether that's you, whether that's just anything. And guys, I think that's pretty much it. You know, I just wanted to update y'all, give y'all a serious talk about what's actually going on in my life, and I just want to say that I freaking love y'all, and I appreciate all the OG subs, everyone that's stuck around the past 3 years watching the videos. Thank you to all the new subs that have recently subscribed. By the way, y'all should buy some merch to help me out. I still have quite a bit of merch left. You know, it's the first drop that I've ever put out. 3 years from now, 5 years from now, if I blow up, then I feel like people are gonna wish they got the first merch drop ever from Jake McCollum, because it's gonna be unique and no one else is really gonna have it, because I'm never gonna make it again. And so anyways, if you wanna support me and help me, and you know, help me pay my bills and everything, there's a whole bunch of links in the description below. One of them is to buy the merch. And yeah, seriously, thank y'all.